Hi everybody, I'm Jared Pike. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, August 25th. On today's show, the story involves a bit of transportation serendipity. One day we happened to see a weird-looking golf cart parked in one of the garages here at Shell Point. Now, upon closer inspection, it actually turned out to be a full-sized car called a smart car. The owner, Lowell Schultz, was kind enough to give us a tour of the car, which has more power than you might expect. And the funny thing is, once you've seen one of these cars, you start to see them everywhere. There's quite a few in Fort Myers, and even one of Lowell's neighbors got one because he was so impressed by it. But that's not the only toy Lowell has in his possession. He also showed us his Segway personal transporter, which is the first we've seen with all-terrain tires. He even let me have a spin on it, provided I didn't accidentally drive it into a canal. Let's take a look at these two unique forms of transportation, the smart car and the Segway.
I was a research and development engineer with AT&T Bell Laboratories in New Jersey. I retired as a distinguished member of technical staff. In my latter years, I was project manager for optical fiber transmission systems, both terrestrial and undersea. First car I drove was a neat 1947 Chrysler Town & Country convertible. It was my brother's. I completely restored it. That was one of the Woody convertibles. Put a new top on it, rebuilt the engine, refinished the wood. Good car. Worked my way up to Corvettes. I had a DeLorean, Mazdas, Datsun 240Zs. I've had a lot of cool cars over the years. But we started coming here when they were working on our apartment, and I noticed over in Harbor Court a fellow with an E2. I saw the E2 and I said, hey, that looked kind of cool. It had a license plate on it. It was in a golf cart spot, and I said, maybe that's a solution for our second car. Checked that out, and that was what they call an NEV, Neighborhood Electric Vehicle, which is limited to use under the Department of Transportation rules to roads that have a speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less. So I said, well, that's not going to do, and I started to search the internet, and I found the smart car. And this, I was fortunate enough they authorized me to, at least on a part-time basis, keep the car in a golf cart spot because I have a large one here at Sundial. It'll do 95 miles an hour. It gets between 36 and 41 miles a gallon. It has the acceleration of a 1949 Ford V8. So it's just a neat little car. The engine is in the back. It's down here under a floor panel, and there's the big heartthrob. 3-cylinder, 1100cc engine. This has about, go about 400 miles between fills. It's almost like a bigger go-kart, maybe. It's just fun. It's, and everywhere you go, everybody's always asking you questions. What is it? Where'd you find it? Where do they make it? And of course, the easiest way to explain it is a cheap man's Mercedes. It was originally developed by two weird companies, Swatch, the watch people, which made convertible watches, and Daimler-Benz. Mercedes has since bought them out. The concept that they used for Swatch was, these are all plastic body panels. You can change basically the whole color scheme. The metal cage here you can see is silver. That's steel, and it's a full solid steel roll cage and everything. All the body panels are molded plastic. You can change the complete color rather than paint it. They have a swap program where they'll change the color of your car in 4 hours. They just bolt and unbolt the panels. The real cool thing is people always say to me, well, what about the big trucks? I said, yeah, they get mad at me when I pass them. It's just fun to drive, it really is, and it's stable. I have friends that are 6'6", and they can sit here. There's plenty of headroom. The seats go way back. The leg room is as much as you want. The seats fold down so you can put larger things in. Here, my wife and I, when we go to Costco, we take this car rather than our station wagon. You can fit a lot, more than enough in the back. And they advertise it as a safe car, and the way it really is. It has electronic stabilization, anti-slip control, there's full curtain bag systems, front and side for side impact. And I've got to trick that a little bit. I have a radar detector, an aftermarket GPS system, and a hands-free Bluetooth adapter for the cell phone. This is a 5-speed, electronically controlled standard transmission. It has a electronically controlled clutch, so you don't have a clutch. So you can shift it manually, or it will shift automatically. So you have your choice. you pull this back and forth. This is basically the automatic position. There are two ways of manually shifting. If you push the shift lever to the left, then it becomes with this little plus and minus here to shift up. You just push it once, shift again through 5 speeds and downshift, down, down, down. And you want to go back to automatic, you pull it across. The paddle shifters I was talking about before, they're behind the wheel. They do the same function. As soon as you touch one of these, it switches from automatic mode to manual mode. So if you're slowing down, you want to downshift, you just keep pulling them down. The only thing it did not come with was a cruise control. But since these, it's a new enough design, it's basically fly-by-wire, so it's all electronic control. I bought an aftermarket system where you have to pop the dash controls, the dash instrument panel out, pull out a connector, put another connector in, replace this pod here, drill a small hole in the dashboard, and then put a little module down under the floorboards, and now I have cruise control. We wouldn't have a parking problem if everybody had smart cars. There are small parking spots where, especially if you try and go shopping and there's a big SUV on one side and maybe a pickup on the other side and they're hugging the lines, well, you're fitting in the middle with still lots of room. And for the two of us, it's just great. We take the dog with us. It's just, we both love it. So if it's both of us are going out, it's usually a fight. Who gets the smart car? It's supposed to be a sunroof. If you look at the top, it's like a dark glass. Even that wasn't dark enough. I pulled the headliner out and actually put a piece of canvas in on the top of it, so we can't open this up anymore, but that's good because it cuts down the solar radiation. That was the only drawback that I'd say in the design. Other than that, I really like everything about it. You asked about the other way that I get around, and it's here at Shell Point. I don't think it can beat a Segway. I know the church has one or two others. I think this is the only one that has the oversized tires because it's an off-road one. Where I used to live, we had a golf course and things like that, and it was just a great place to zoom around, and you just can't beat it at Shell Point. You can park it anywhere, you can ride it anywhere, and if it isn't raining, it's just great fun. I think it's advertised as a people mover, and the concept is you have a lithium-ion battery pack, a computer-controlled balance system, because as you notice, there's 2 wheels, and its natural tendency is to fall over. But once you start it, which is just basically turning on the gyros, you stand onto it and you'll hear a beep, which may or may not be heard, and then it stabilizes. And to go forward, you lean just a little bit forward and it goes forward. To stop or go backwards, you just lean or pull back a little bit. And then to go right or left, you just turn the little post. And as you can see, basically it'll turn within its own circle, left or right, and you can be turning leftward, going backwards, and the only time you can have a problem with this is if somebody wants to fight it. It's smart, it can sense when it's upright. And the whole concept of how it works is, the design is to try and keep it vertical. So when you lean forward, in order to bring it vertical, the wheels start to spin to try and get under it to make you vertical. And that's why when you lean forward, you go forward. When you just lean back a little bit, you go backward. And if you're going around curves, you can sort of lean into the turn a little bit. It feels cool, and the breeze blowing is just fun. Downhill, you have to be a little careful and be ready to put your body weight back slightly to retard it going down the hill. It senses when its center of gravity is going to be out of control, and the computers automatically slow you down so that you can't go too fast in any given situation. The whole thing is designed with safety in mind. You can actually go up and down stairs with them if you're careful. Theoretically, they say you get about 20 miles on a charge. I don't think I can really get more than about 12 to 14, something like that. The advertised top speed is 12.2 miles an hour. You can get, if you lean into it, which you're really not supposed to, you can get about 12.7. But they're a lot of fun. I take it over to the shop all the time, or I ride it around the island. It just makes life very, very, very simple.